Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the final forum presentation of the Hong Kong Young Leaders Program hosted by GIFT, the Global Institute for Tomorrow. This year's program is about redefining Hong Kong as a smart city. I'm Andrew McCarthy, the head of marketing at Brink, and I was a participant of this year's program. I'm also going to be your MC for today. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for joining us. We literally have people from all corners of the world, so we really appreciate you all taking the time to join us here today. And I'd like to now introduce Chandra Nair, founder and CEO of GIFT, who will be providing the opening remarks.
Thank you, Andrew, and welcome to everyone. As Andrew said, we have been fortunate enough to attract people from all corners of the world. So whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon, as it is in Hong Kong, welcome. I hope you're all keeping well in these extraordinary times, and your families and all of you are safe and healthy. This is the 7th Young Leaders Program in Hong Kong, and the second one where we've had to do it online. All of us are hoping that next year when we do this, the 8th one, we will do it in person, but at the same time be able to invite a global audience. So my name is Chandra Nair. I work for the Global Institute, and I happen to be the CEO and founder of GIFT. We are always so excited by the possibility of running this annual program in Hong Kong. We run one annual program in a specific location, and that's Hong Kong, and another one in Malaysia. This year, as Andrew said, our focus has been on redefining smart city. And I think you'll be very excited by what you hear from the cohort that we've assembled this year. And I'd like to thank everyone, the companies that send people to the program, the government of Hong Kong, which supported us, as well as the various sponsors who allowed people from civil society groups to join us. We were very fortunate to be able to attract 30 extremely talented, diverse group of people. And I'm also pleased to say this is probably the first program we've ever run where we've had a majority of women. I think we have 23 women and 7 men. It has been an experience and a good one at that. So let me start by just making a couple of other remarks. You'll all know that the world is in uncharted waters in many ways. All around the world, people in leadership roles, and I don't mean just corporates or governments, but throughout civil society, are trying to make sense of the world we live in, and that's no different in Hong Kong. We're trying to make sense of everything that's going on, and particularly so in Hong Kong, where we've had perhaps turbulent times in many ways. But at the same time, many in Hong Kong are confident that Hong Kong will come through both the political upheavals of 2019, and of course, the global pandemic would have affected us just like any other place. As far as the pandemic is concerned, Hong Kong is in a good place, stringent measures put in place. And at the moment, fingers crossed, things are looking up, and let's hope that with the rest of the world, Hong Kong will come through this period. One of the reasons for running the Young Leaders Program in Hong Kong is to provide a platform whereby young people, and we mean typically young professionals in their mid-20s to their mid-30s, have an opportunity to share ideas through a channel that we are providing, a platform, and essentially allow those ideas to be brought to the attention of a much wider audience. For many years, that audience was just in Hong Kong. And so I'm very privileged and happy that the audience now is a global audience, and that's a sort of perverse outcome of the pandemic. We in Hong Kong have been through a lot. GIFT in Hong Kong started this program about 7 years. It's essentially as a contribution, I like to think, in terms of getting young people to essentially make contributions in ways that can shift policies. And in the last 2 years, it has become very clear that many things need to change, not just in Hong Kong, but in many parts of the world. Today, you'll hear a group of people from Hong Kong, young people from Hong Kong, putting forth ideas that are not just of relevance to Hong Kong, but I would argue any place in the world, any city in Asia, Europe, or even the United States. Bold and brave ideas. What you will hear today in the next 30, 40 minutes will be just the tip of the iceberg of a much more complex report. The team has been working day and night for the last seven days to produce a comprehensive report, which when I reviewed it last night, the second draft was up to about 150 pages. So in about a week, they produced a comprehensive set of recommendations. About I think it's about 12 in total, but you'll hear the highlights of about 10 of them today. One of the things that we're very keen about in Hong Kong is also to encourage young people to believe, and around the world, that opportunities exist in the new normal that can be leveraged with new thinking. And so about 2 years ago at GIFT, we coined the phrase called stay and build. Stay in Hong Kong, build the future. You need young people to do that. You need them to convince a whole range of people, but you need them to also be able to articulate that in very clear ways. So much of the focus of the Young Leaders Program is to stay and build. But this applies not just to Hong Kong, where it may seem extremely relevant at the moment, but around the world. When I travel to different parts of the world, be it in Africa, Asia, etc., young people are always looking for something different. I often say to them, the grass may look greener somewhere else, but your first obligation as privileged, educated people is to stay and build, contribute to your nations, contribute to your countries. And that's what this group will be doing. So before I hand over, I'd like to just recognize three VIP guests we have. The first one is someone very dear to my heart and who is my teacher, mentor, etc. And that's Professor Hidetaki Takahashi. Professor Takahashi has been a business leader for many years in Japan. He sat on boards of some of the most leading companies in Japan, including Oryx Corporation, NEC, and others. And so it's a great privilege to have Professor Takahashi on board. Once the presentations are done, we will invite him to share a few thoughts. Next, I would like to also acknowledge the Managing Director of NEC in Hong Kong, Elsa Wong, who's one of the most incredibly motivated women I've met, and who many may not know, but has had been the forefront of most of the technologies in terms of facial recognition and smart cards and etc. in Hong Kong. So to Elsa, thank you for joining us as well. She too we'll invite to say a few words later on. And last but not least, I would like to also acknowledge Richard Tao, who is a leading member of the community in Hong Kong, runs a very important family office that gives back in very, very many ways. And one of the ways he's given back this time is to essentially sponsor some of the participants from civil society groups, but even more than that, bring together some others in his network to sponsor some of the participants. So those three VIPs, I want to thank very much for helping us to do all of this, but we will invite them to comment on the proposals being presented. So let me now just say that I hope you will all find these presentations of value. And I'll hand it back now to Andrew MacArthur, who will introduce the sequence of events. And just to be a bit more personal, I'd like to also call out Andrew's mother, who I believe has logged on. So Andrew's mother, Mrs. MacArthur, thank you. All right, Andrew, over to you.
Hi, Mom. Now let's kick off our main presentation. So I'd firstly like to go over our agenda. So I'll be sharing more about the program. Then we'll be going over the project's background and vision. Then we'll be going over the policy proposals in key areas: health and well-being, inclusive economy, future skills, quality built environment, and low carbon economy. Then Chandran will be back to speak to our VIP guests. Then we'll be hosting a live Q&A session where you can ask your questions in the chat box. And lastly, Chandran will be providing the closing remarks. So who are we? We're a group of 30 young leaders from startups, corporations, NGOs, and government entities that have come together to learn leadership skills and reshape Hong Kong's future. Firstly, I'd like to thank our sponsors: Christine Lowe, CLP, Jacobson Pharma, New Heritage Group, Octopus, Tao Foundation, the River Star Foundation, and Wu Fuk Charitable Foundation. So let me tell you more about our journey. Our journey began 3 weeks ago during Module 1, where it gave us the foundation of what it takes to change society. It highlighted Hong Kong's current problems and future problems that we'll have to tackle. But it all got really real during our second module, where it all began with site visits. So we have a few pictures from the site visits that you can see in the presentation slide. But the one that really highlighted the inequalities for me was when I got to go to a subdivided apartment where a family of 4 lived in just 100 square feet. Hong Kong has some really deep problems that we need to solve right now. So over the past week, our group has put together policy proposals that we would like to highlight here today. I'd like to thank all our program stakeholders. We couldn't have done this without you guys. Many of them provided site visits and provided interviews that gave us key insights to helping create our policies. And now I'd like to introduce my fellow presenters today. So Emmy Ao Young from NEC Hong Kong will be providing the project background and vision. Then Joyce Chung from Invest Hong Kong will be speaking about health and well-being. Carol Liang from Mind HK will be speaking about inclusive economy. Ken Hui from the Vocational Training Council will be speaking about future skills. Olivia To from Environmental Protection Department will be speaking about quality built environment. And lastly, Gary Zhang from MTR will be speaking about the low carbon economy. Now, I'd like to hand it over to Emmy to kick us off.
Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. I'm Emmy Ao Young from NEC Hong Kong. Welcome to join the forum today. The theme this year is redefining smart city for resilience in the new normal. To cope with the challenges in every changing world, such as the climate change, carbon emission issue, high unemployment rate during the current pandemic situation, there are many issues that we have to deal with. So we have to rethink what we can do further and change the current situation and perceive the world in a different ways to find solutions. Our team have put great efforts to do research and interview with the stakeholders. We come up with the proposal and give recommendations. Our recommendation is to make impact together. And we also have to collaborate together to make a better life for Hong Kong future. So this is here our vision to redefine the smart city. Smart city, living with dignity and living well. Hong Kong will be an inclusive economy built on social cohesion and trust that focus on prioritizing well-being, build a healthy and livable environment, promote low carbon lifestyle, and encouraging lifelong learning opportunities, so as to achieve the dignified and prosperous life. That's what we define our smart city. So we have 5 key focus areas, such as the health and well-being. We will strengthen health literacy in school. The second one is inclusive economy. We will create meaningful and gainful work for all of us. The third one is future skills. We will reposition the vocational education. Quality built environment. We will create public open space optimization. And the last one is low carbon economy. We will transform our electricity. So we have 5 focus areas, and each area we will have a main 2 policy and proposal to share with you all. So let me pass the time to Joyce to introduce the health and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Hello, I'm Joyce from the Health and Wellbeing team. Smart citizens are the foundations of the smart city. And how we're going to achieve this is to cultivate a healthy city by enabling and empowering everyone in the society to achieve optimal physical, social, and mental well-being to live dignified life. Currently, we have identified 2 challenges Hong Kong is currently facing, probably same as other big cities in the world. First, the first challenge is we are facing insufficient resources for family cares. Second is the low health literacy in schools. Currently, Hong Kong do have financial subsidized schemes. However, they are with very strict restrictions and mainly targeting low-income families. But how about families in the middle class with family members who have disabilities? And for health literacy, means the degree of individual who have the capacity to obtain, process, and understand basic health information to make the right health decisions. Currently, the schools in Hong Kong have very low health literacy. And with the challenges, of course, we see the opportunities. We see it is an urgent matter to have a supportive supportive systems to support the health cares. And also, we have to strengthen health literacy in schools in order to build an ecosystem to support the society to live with dignity and live well. Here, we are going to dive in with two proposals. First, we have a proposal called a public-private family care furlough scheme. What is a furlough scheme? It is very similar to the maternity leave we have in Hong Kong. So for example, a person who has to take long leave to take care of a family member who has disability, 90% of the salary will still be earned, and 30% of the 80% salary will be contributed by the company, and the rest of the 50% will be subsidized by the government. And how can we benefit from it? Well, employers can retain their talents within the company, and the caretaker will have the job security and still have the financial support. And after all, we can also lessen the medical system burden in our community. And second, our proposal is called Healthy Schools Scheme. This scheme will aim to empower the teachers, the student, and the community to take ownership of the healthy lifestyle. With this scheme, we have 6 core initiatives. We're hoping our community engagement will take a task force by collaborating with the community and professional health practitioners to form this task force to facilitate this scheme. And also with the collaboration of the government and professional health practitioners and also academias, they will form a program to train the trainers, which is to train the teachers to equip them with the knowledge and set an example to influence the students. And also with the recommendation of WHO, each individual should have at least 1 hour physical activities every day. Therefore, it is recommended to push the mandatory 5 hours PE lessons for students to increase their physical activity level. And for this proposal, we will be able to change the mindset and cultural shift, and to raise health and well-being awareness across the community, and to drive Hong Kong to a healthier city. Next, I would like to pass the time to Carol.
Thank you, Joy. So today I'm going to be talking about the inclusive economy. I'm Carol, I'm from Mind Hong Kong, a mental health charity. When we talk about the inclusive economy, we mean allowing equal access to the economy. Hong Kong's economy is highly stratified and dependent on the financial sector, along with its 4 other industry pillars. There are 2 main challenges I'd like to talk about today. The first is that Hong Kong's population is changing. We all know that Hong Kong has an incredibly high elderly population and the longest life expectancy in the world. But now we are facing a new problem. By 2038, 32% of our population will be elderly. That's 2.4 million people. Youth are facing another problem. Today, there are around 700,000 young people in Hong Kong, and they're facing a historic high unemployment rate of 10%. The second problem is SMEs, startups, and NGOs are struggling. They're lacking financial support, and there's no centralized system for funding opportunities for them to access financial schemes easily from the government or from private industries. But with these challenges come opportunities. So with our proposal today, we want to create opportunities to help realize the full potential of Hong Kong. The first opportunity is to create employment and meaningful work opportunities for both youth and elderly. So as I said, there are 2.4 million elderly in 2038 and 700,000 youth today. This population has a wide range of skill sets, expertise, and many qualities that we want to take advantage of to make an inclusive economy. This also has meaning for mental health. Last year, during the COVID pandemic, around 60% of people said that their financial and career concerns had an impact on their mental well-being. If we don't address the gaps in the system, then these people will fall through them. So we have opportunities to help support them in more ways. The second is to provide further support to SMEs, startups, and NGOs. There is a gap. There are currently 47 government schemes available online, but they're on different websites and different PDFs, and they're not easily accessible. So about 50% of SMEs says that they would like to apply or have applied to government schemes, but 23% said they had limited awareness of what was available. There is a gap to fill here to help ensure that they receive the support they need. So our first proposal that we recommend is to create meaningful and gainful work opportunities for both youth and elderly. The first part of this is to launch a government private-public partnership youth employment scheme that will entail a 2-year apprenticeship and internship program. Companies will receive a subsidy in order to take on young people aged 18 to 30 who are either just entering the workforce or going through a career transition. They will provide on-site skill training and be able to gain skills from their employment opportunities. The government will also provide support pre-employment and post-employment of these apprenticeship and internship to ensure they access the correct career paths and also have the correct soft skills for further employment growth in the future. The second is to introduce a senior employment scheme. This entails 2 parts. One is a re-employment program, where government will have different compensation, such as tax relief and grants, to re-employ seniors aged 61 to 70. The second is a mentorship program to help link elderly with young professionals and students. As I said before, elderly are highly qualified, skilled people, and we want them to be able to transfer their knowledge to the young people today. And it's also the other way around. We want the elderly to learn from our young people. So our goal for this is to reduce the unemployment rate from 10 to 5% by 2024 and increase the reemployment rate of seniors to 6% by 2028. That's 60,000 seniors per year by 2028. Our second proposal we recommend is something called the One-Stop Funding Platform. The One-Stop Funding Platform will support SMEs and NGOs in accessing funding and contribute to an inclusive economy. This is an example of what it could look like here. So currently there's no centralized funding platform available, but if we put everything in one place, such as all government funding opportunities, all private organization opportunities, then NGOs, SMEs, and startups will have a much easier process in accessing funding applications. So we plan to launch the One-Stop Funding Portal by 2023, and this will help increase accessibility and the application rate for all SMEs, startups, and NGOs. The funding application process will also be streamlined. So existing application systems, which already are existent in the government platforms, will be integrated into the system and standardized to ease the process for both donors and beneficiaries. The second part of this is to introduce a 50% tax deduction scheme. So in order to incentivize private organizations to conduct the grant process for Section 88 charities via the One-Stop platform, will increase the tax deduction from 35% to 50% for all those who use the platform to make such donations and do the grant application. So we hope that these proposals can help create an inclusive economy. It's something that's very important for the quality of life and a smart city in Hong Kong. I'd now like to introduce Ken from our Future Skills team to talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. I'm Ken Hui from the Vocational Training Council. I'm very pleased to introduce our ideas and proposal in the area of future skills. So what are future skills about? Future skills are actually essential items to Hong Kong in the increasingly globalized and digitalized world. So under this area, we have identified two challenges. And the first one is the skills mismatch between our education system and our job market. Many employers in Hong Kong always tell us that they are difficult to find suitable people or suitable staff because they find that their skills are mismatched. And also many young people will feel that what the skills they acquire today is not fit for futures. So it is the first challenge. And the second challenge is about lifelong learning. Many workers in Hong Kong always think that when I need to learn something because I want to find a job, actually, this is a learn to earn maternity. And this maternity is actually demotivating people to pursue lifelong learning. So to address the two challenges, we think that there are actually two core values, two core messages we want to bring out. The first one is lifelong learners, and the second one are choices. So the two opportunities we identify, the first one is the growing global awareness of vocational skills and training. I think all of you, most of you will know that in Germany, in Switzerland, and Singapore, their vocational training system are very advanced. So why not Hong Kong? Hong Kong is situated in the GBA, and there are many, many opportunities in different industries, in different trades. So we will address these opportunities in our proposal. And the second opportunities is also about lifelong learning. As I mentioned in the challenges, the opportunities is to change the mindset from learn to earn to earn to learn. What is earn to learn? Earn to learn is something about if I want to pursue lifelong learning, I need to learn something and then to reskill and upskill ourselves. And these have to be supported by the government and also the other stakeholders. So here come our two proposals. The first proposal is repositioning our vocational education in Hong Kong. Under this proposal, we have two suggestions. The first one is to re-establish our dual-track education system from the secondary school level up to the university level in terms of a University of Applied Science. And we think that after we establish or to upgrade our vocational education system, many talents and many students will go into this system. And the second suggestion is to position Hong Kong as the leading vocational skill and training hub in GBA. And this is, as I mentioned in the opportunities, it is not only for GBA talents. As a training hub, it can also attract talents from all over the world, such as Southeast Asia and other areas of the world. So what about the second proposal? The second proposal is about our lifelong learners. And we have three suggestions under this proposal. This proposal is the Earn to Learn development scheme, lifelong development scheme. The first suggestion is called a lifelong development fund. We call it an LDF. What is it about? Imagine all of you should know that MPF. So LDF is very similar. Actually, it is a contribution from the employers, about 1% of their monthly salary of every employees to the fund, and with the matching from the government to set up a fund. So how does it operate? Every workers in Hong Kong can apply to reskilling or upskilling by using this fund. So the second suggestion is we recommend to mandate a 40 hours personal development leave annually. We call it a PDL. What is that about? I think many employers in Hong Kong, they have internal training, but sometimes they find that what they train are not what they want. So this 40 hours personal development leave is actually for everyone in Hong Kong to apply to any courses they want, to upskilling or to acquire the skill they want. So the last one and the most important one is the lifelong development portal. This portal actually include our first and second suggestion. Inside this portal, everybody can know how many funds we have already used up and how many trainings hours we have already used up. The most important point is not only for learners, it's also for teachers, for trainers. If I have some skills, I can contribute into the portal. I can share my skills here so that everyone can learn anything. So thank you. That's all our proposal under the future skills area. So may I invite Olivia to talk about the ideas and proposal of quality built environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I'm Olivia To from Environmental Protection Department. I'm pleased to talk about the quality built environment. So a quality built environment is all about a livable, sustained, and balanced environment for the people and also for the community. And we found that community connectivities and also people mobility are basically restricted by the access to the usable space in the urban area. As a complexity like Hong Kong, actually, we find the difficulties and also challenges with the fragmented management and also uneven distributions of the public open space. Secondly, is about the rapid aging populations in Hong Kong. We know that there are about 400,000 of the elderly who are basically living in poverty. And then they are facing the mobility problem and then restricted at the home. So we would like to find the solutions for them. So we actually find opportunities there. And we are targeting to enhance the living quality of the urban environment, and not only at the surrounding environment, but also at homes for the lower income groups. So firstly, our proposal is to optimize the public open space to create an uplifting environment in the community. And that's why the people can connect there, they can utilize the space there, and also can enjoy the space area to build a better environment. Secondly, for the elderly people, we would like to suggest integrations of the geotechnology. Therefore, they can have a better living quality to live smart and also enhance their dignity at their home. We are suggesting two proposals. Firstly, is about the open space area optimizations. So our target is to increase the public space per capita in the dense district because it is a dense population in Hong Kong, but we would like to raise the target to about 3.5 square meters per capita to benefit over 80% of the populations in Hong Kong. So what does 3.5 square meter means? It basically means, for example, in Mong Kok, we only have 1 square meter per capita, but Tai Po or Sa Tin actually is about close to 3.5 square meters. So that would be an ideal space, open space area for the Hong Kong people. And how to do so? We are suggesting to establish a public open space commissions. Basically, it would be led by the government and also steered by the government of their high management people, for example, chief executive or chief secretary. So they would be overseeing the future development of the public open space. And we are looking closely on the population density and also open space area. And our major target will be suggesting to upgrading the existing and also identifying and create new public open space for the Hong Kong people and the community. So that's why they can use more, they can be more sociable and also accessible for the open space area. And secondly, we would like to suggest, because the community participation is also very important, so that's why we would like to create a public platform for the people. So it would be enable the local community to enjoy the design, build up, and also operate in a quality environment initiative. They can join the initiative, and we are proposing by 2023, the government can kickstart this public platform. The major objective of this is to listen different voices of the local communities and also strengthen their sense of belonging of the community. So that's why, they can get it together and then they can chit chat and also enjoy the moment, and they can share the talent and knowledge within the public platform. And the target of it would be having 10 public pilot projects by 2023. Our second proposal is focusing on the elderly with the poverty problem. Firstly, because their mobility is very low, and that's why actually their living environment and also quality will be degraded. We were suggesting set up a 5 to 7 billion fund to support 100,000 households on geotechnology installations. So how to do so? We are suggesting a silver home fund and initiated and led by the Social and Welfare Department. We are suggesting 2020 would be perfect timeline for the government to kickstart the fund so that it could be benefit the elderly people who has the urgent need to upgrade their system and also enhance their living quality at home. So we are trying to set up the fund and engage to invite the NGO for the applications. That's why they can identify the needy people who have the most urgent needed, and then we can do the installation work as soon as possible. And the subsidy amount is about 50,000 per household. So that they can use the money to upgrade their toilet system to be more safe and their living environment in their living room and also bedroom to upgrade to enhance their wellness and also health at their home. And then last but not least is about talking about a task force, because it's a very complex issue. Our cost department must work closely and also together. So a task force can actually invite and also gather the department together, and also for the professional partners to provide a voice, and also more importantly, to drive the guidelines and identify the qualified contractors. So that's why we can meet their help the elderly people immediately. So our target is we would like to having 100,000 households to be installed their geotechnology at homes by 2030. With that, we believe a quality environment will be enhanced and will be providing a sustainable city for Hong Kong, and the economy, social, and also wellness of the people can be enhanced. Thank you. So with that, I would like to introduce my friend to talk more about on the low carbon economy. Gary, please.
Thank you, Olivia. I'm Gary from the Low Carbon Economy team. We believe a smart city cannot really be so smart if the city cannot fully embrace sustainable development and tackle the biggest challenge faced by all human beings, the climate change. But what are the specific challenges in Hong Kong? First, the energy. 66% of total carbon footprint of Hong Kong comes from electricity. Demand for energy must be reduced and priced as a priority before we achieve zero emission power generation. Second, the transportation. 18% of carbon footprint is from transport. Transition to zero carbon vehicles are still way too slow in Hong Kong. It is really not catching up with the technology available to us and not utilizing the great infrastructure we already have. Waste, the third biggest emission contributor right now, will become an increasingly prominent source in the coming 15 years. According to our own calculation, even in the most conservative scenario, we will see waste, especially plastic, accounts for 25% of total carbon footprint in 2030s. This is something we must tackle as well. Despite the challenges, Hong Kong actually has all the necessary resources at its disposal to become a world leader in decarbonization. The chief executive announced in her 2020 policy address that Hong Kong will strive to achieve carbon neutrality before 2050. This is not just a policy target, but also Hong Kong's commitment to the world. The world will be watching us, and they will be counting on us. Hong Kong is also a compact city with its own borders. So most of the vehicle trips made in Hong Kong are actually domestic. And we have a world-class electricity infrastructure, which means that we don't have many technical hurdles to build a wide-scale charging facilities. So Hong Kong has the best potential to replace the fossil-fueled vehicles with green ones. It is really low-hanging fruits for all of us. And most importantly, Hong Kong people. According to a survey conducted by the University of Hong Kong, 19% of Hong Kong people agree that there is a need to tackle climate change. And more than 70% of the respondents said they were willing to make changes and sacrifices to protect our environment. So we have the commitment, we have resources, and we have the people. All we need now is good policy and decisive actions to make everything happen. So here come our policy proposals. The first, we advocate to reform our electricity sector in the coming years on efficiency and consumption. 90% of the electricity was consumed by buildings in Hong Kong. So on top of the current schemes to enhance building energy efficiency, we propose that Hong Kong should retrofit all its existing buildings, both residential and commercial ones. A new standard should be tailor-made for existing buildings, and a more comprehensive funding support scheme should be developed. Second, to achieve low carbon economy, we can no longer afford to excessively use our energy anymore. Today, for most corporate users, they will enjoy cheaper prices the more the energy they use. This hasn't reflected the true carbon cost of energy consumption. That's why we propose to expand the ladder rate tariff systems to all consumer segments by 2025 and charge for carbon pricing. And hopefully this will promote responsible consumption for the future. Our second proposal is to significantly accelerate the electrification of our transport. For taxi and buses, we propose to electrify all of them in the coming 10 years. As mentioned, we already have the technology available, we already have the infrastructure, the business model has already been tested in some other cities for many years. We really should just do it. A more ambitious target is to convert 90% of all road vehicles, including the goods vehicles. To achieve that, we need to extend our charging facilities, import and implement new EV technology, continue to increase license fees for fossil-fueled vehicles to accelerate replacement, and in 2035, we stop the registration of new fossil-fueled vehicles, not just for private cars, but also for goods vehicles. And the final one is a plastic revolution for Hong Kong. Compared to other types of waste, plastic waste releases 10 times of greenhouse gases when being incinerated, and they will take hundreds of years to fully degrade if they are just left in the landfill. So we propose to ban all single-use plastics by 2025. That's a quick win for all of us and will help us to reduce more than 30% of all the plastics we currently use. And then we will introduce a producer responsibility scheme on all plastic products by 2030, which include a mechanism of recycling levies for plastics. We will not be able to get rid of all the plastic overnight. We still need plastic in our daily life for some essential uses. But by reducing the usage and also by promoting recycling, we aspire to achieve a plastic waste-free future for Hong Kong. So that's the end of my sharing. I will now pass back to Shendrum for the VIP remarks session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Such an interesting and wide-ranging presentation. So Gary brought together a whole host of things, the details of which you will find in the proposal. But I loved, given that it's close to my heart, the way he went from electricity generation, energy usage, costing, and then right down to how we're going to transform the transport sector with timelines. And finally, the very important issue that Hong Kong will have to deal with, which is waste, and the opportunity in Hong Kong to essentially build the best waste to energy plants in the world, so that you essentially start to be able to price in the CO2 and do carbon credits even with the waste to energy. Thank you. And then we heard from others about how to learn to earn, various schemes on how to essentially dual track the education system, so that people, young people have options in terms of choosing what they want to learn, rather than co-opted into things simply because those are the only options are out there. We also heard about the health index, how to essentially look at health literacy. We hear a lot about financial literacy, and I love the idea of health literacy, and a whole spectrum of ideas you will find in the proposal. We also heard about essentially how we need to look at density, and therefore how we look at public space, but also the very interesting idea of actually getting communities to get engaged in the design, the construction, and the operation of public spaces. These are wonderful ideas. And of course, we also heard the idea about the youth employment scheme, which I think is a fantastic idea, and something which is not simply dishing out money to youth, but actually allowing them an opportunity in a large-scale public-private partnership arrangement with the largest companies in Hong Kong to help your youth in this city to develop skills. And those are all rooted in some good analysis, which you will see in the full report. So with that, I want to congratulate the presenters, the team, for having in such a short time, produced all of that. Let me now invite our special guests to just give us some of their thoughts on what they heard, and given they are all very experienced, knowledgeable people. So first, I'd like to invite my dear friend, Professor Takahashi, who's in Tokyo, beaming in. So Professor Takahashi, can I invite you to comment on what you've heard so far?
Hello, can you see me? Okay,
Yes.
Chandran, thank you for inviting me to this great final forum. I am honored to join this, the group session. And, I was so excited about, pictures, done by very young, vibrant, people from Hong Kong. And my takeaway today is, well, in order to come up with a truly doable smart city, great reset is a must. See, you can nitpick to death, but in order to do something big, you really have to first, construct a vision that's big enough, shake the structure. Okay, I think you are successful in that. And as long as we assume the future is extrapolation of today, that's disaster. Okay, future is something that you have to construct ground up. I think you have done that. I think you do need, still more amending and, modification, but that comes after. So bravo, you guys. Now, lastly, I'd like to offer a few words to the participants, young, energetic, people from Hong Kong. Okay, do not follow the path, make it. Do not follow the path, make it. And the next one is my favorite one. You can only change today and tomorrow. Forget the past, focus on today and tomorrow. So, great guys, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Takahashi. I've known Professor Takahashi for at least 10 years, and I forgot to say that on our global programs, he's been to close to 25 of all our programs or more, and he has mentored us incredibly. I love your Japanese philosophical advice, which is do not follow the path, make it. I think that's samurai wisdom, and I hope all the group here in Hong Kong will follow that. And you need to look forward, etc. Also, very importantly, the advice you gave, which is not to nitpick, not to look at the small things and be nervous about what was done in the past, and try and criticize based on little details. Of course, details matter, but what I think you're saying to everyone is essentially, set the big picture, dream big, don't extrapolate on the past, because that will take you down the wrong route, and to actually have the courage to essentially think more, which is what we've always tried to do. So Professor Takahashi, we miss you. We hope to do this live next year.
Yes.
And we will be sending you the ticket to come and see us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you. Next, can I invite Elsa Wong from NEC? And clearly the technology works very well with NEC. So Elsa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chandran. Hi, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, all of you. And congratulations to all of you. You have done a fantastic job. And you can describe the challenge of the city very well. And your suggestions are quite practical with the support of the data that you have researched. And let me go through one by one, because you have 6 focus. For the first one, the well-being, okay? So you mentioned the challenge that you find is insufficient resources for the family and the know-how literacy in school. No doubt that are current our challenges. But my comment is, I suggest you use more technology, okay? Especially for the insufficient resources of the family. Because you just giving the money, it will not help. Okay, of course, the salary subsidies from the government, for the company, and the leave scheme, that will assist them, but that will not help them, because they need the caregiver to do the job. Okay, so by applying more technology, so that can solve the part of the problem. So we leave the caretaker back to the community to work. Okay, so that you may have to study on that using more technology. Okay, and for the know-how literacy in school, yes, I think they have to do more exercise, because even as a mother, I have 2 kids studying in Hong Kong. They are not very strict on their health well-being, at the school at the moment. So and also your suggestion is also practical, train the trainer, but I suggest you use technology as well, because right now the advanced technology like the training mirror, I'm not sure whether you have heard about it. The training mirror, actually, they were using the IoT, Internet of Things, to capture your pressure and your heartbeat, so that it can give you a detail of your exercise, how well you've done, and what should you do further to improve your BMI and to improve your health. So this is come with the AI. Okay, so it can be, it's quite personalized training. So it definitely will help individual, to improve the health-being for each individual student. So you may input more, using more technology into your solution. Okay, so for the inclusive economy, what you mentioned is the aging population. Now, from your study, 32% elderly, which is occupies 2.4 million Hong Kong people, and the youth unemployment 10%. Okay, and also you mentioned about the SME startup and NGO, the funding is not easy to get the funding. Okay, and okay, the first of all, the aging also, you need to use more technology. Okay, because for the elderly, you can use the technology to solve their loneliness, and also to give them more exercise to do it at home, occupy them. So that can be done by technology. Okay, and regarding the work opportunities, some of the elderly, they are still physically okay. Okay, you can suggest to encourage them to do more volunteer work. The elderly help another elderly. Okay, each elderly had different problems, different challenge. But some they don't have this challenge, they can help the other with the specific challenge. So it can create a common matching platform for the elderly society. They can help each other and they make friends, and so can solve their loneliness, and also they create a community themselves. Okay, so this is one of the idea that you can think about more details. And For the youth unemployment, I think you may have to ask the youngster, do you want to work? Okay, I mean, it's not, sometimes I find it's not they can't find a job. Maybe they can't find the job they want and they're looking for. Okay, so for example, you know, if everyone wants to get a you know, investment, get a job in investment bank. So, and because we have so many graduates from financial, so, and also education, you know, education being a teacher. So there are not enough places, but they are, you know, undergraduate degree is educational degree, but they can train, you know, with skill themselves, you know, to match for the new type of job if they really want a job. So this is the question about themselves, whether they want a job or not. So what you suggest, of course, is also help them, but maybe we have to look at the challenge and issue more deeper, you know, to ask more questions from those unemployment youth, what they really looking for. Okay, and for the funding, SME startup, and actually the government have done a lot of, you know, initiative and also put a lot of effort in nurturing the startup and giving a lot of funding. And in recently, Hong Kong PC Productivity Council, they do offer one-stop funding portal, okay, to help the existing SME, and because their main objective is to support the SME in Hong Kong. So you may have a look on their funding portal, one-stop portal, and to give more suggestion to them. And I welcome the 50% tax deduction scheme, you know, for the company, because we also do quite a lot of donation. So if we can enjoy 50% tax deduction on whatever we donate, perfect. Go ahead, this one. So please suggest to the government. Okay, so, and the next one is the future skills. I think from the young stage, maybe secondary school, I think from the university stage already too late. So you have to tell them what kind of job are available in this new era. Okay, it's not like traditional, you know, always thinking about account, law, medicine, you know, this very traditional job, because from the secondary school you have to select your subjects. But most of the subject, you know, how they select is really influenced by their parents. Okay, so may not give a very forward suggestion to them. Okay, so and also they don't have enough knowledge and market information for them to think about. Okay, what kind of job are available in the market right now? So I may suggest to create a platform, you know, in inviting different industry as a mentors to educate or to showcase and bring them to visit the company to see how they do their job. For example, like even like accounting, there are many different jobs. They think they like accounting, but in fact they may not like it after they have seen, after they have, you know, have some practical experience, maybe a few days enough for them to get a sense of it. So that kind of thing you also can think in more details. And for the Lifelong Development Fund, right now Hong Kong government is very generous. You know, we have the CFE fund, and also they just announced a new scheme for the people who want to do the future skill. Okay, so they subsidize 75% of each program, and you just pay for 25%. But that is pretty new, so I suggest the government have to do more, you know, marketing, you know, to promote that. And this you can look at it and see any improvement you can do, and you can do more suggestion to them. And regarding the quality built environment, I think the proposal is very good suggestion, and also particular in they should involve the local community participation, and this is important. This is all about smart city, you know. So I think this is very good suggestion. But 3.5 square meter, I don't know, you know, whether we have this space. And now for the integration for the aging, I think the integration of geotechnology toward the living smart to build the smart home and do the home renovation. This is a fantastic idea. And using more technology to allow them to take care of themselves. This is very important. And also we leave the caretaker to spend the time to take care of them. And also they will find themselves, more confident to take, because they can take care of themselves. They don't have to rely on the caretaker. So that is excellent idea. And with the no carbon economy, fully agree. This is also very practical proposal. Yeah, so, and for my closing remark, to me, why there is a smart city here, because there are many challenges and problems happen in our daily lives. And I think we should adapt technology in solving those challenges. So how smart is all depends the capacity of innovation adaptation and the city ability to create well-being for its citizens. So this is all about smart city, but we have to get the citizen participation. This is the most important, because they are the biggest population and the biggest user. So that's why I make the impact to the society. Yeah, that's all for my comment.
Okay, thank you, Elsa. I think there might be a technical hiccup with the main room. Are you there, Chandran?
Yes, we're back.
Okay.
I think Elsa, you're back on.
Yeah, so which part the collection lost? So the no carbon economy, we finished, right? You heard about the.
You were just going to wrap up.
Okay, so so no carbon economy, you okay, right? For
yes.
The no carbon, okay. So the wrap up part is what I'm trying to say. Why there is a smart city. So to me, there are many challenges and problems happen in our daily lives, and we should adapt technology in solving those challenges. So how smart is all depends the capacities of innovation adaptation and the city ability to create well-being for its citizens. Because without the citizen participation, we cannot create an impact for the society. Yeah, okay, that's all.
Thank you, Elsa. That was really, really good. I've got all the participants on my left here, yes. And they're all suggesting that you buy them dinner or lunch and talk about all of this in detail. Okay, but that was so good, and you gave every team, I think, some really positive feedback, ranging from the importance of technology, but also the importance of getting the data right, the policy right, etc. And also looking at how policies essentially need to be affecting the right targeted audience, etc. And as you said, maybe 3.5 square meters is not enough, but I'm going to go back to what Professor Takahashi said. We will make it. We will not look for somebody else, but to ambitiously think. Also thought it's really good that you talked about how the technologies can be used in terms of the health literacy, etc. Mm-hmm. One of the things we try to get the team to look at, which is perhaps why we framed it as redesigning or relooking a smart city, was to say you start first with what problem you want to solve, which is what you said. Then you say, well, how do we make it happen? And clearly, as you then so clearly articulated to us, then technology becomes the enabling tool. But if you don't know what is the problem you're actually trying to solve, what are the policies, because policy is politics, etc., then you can't use the best technologies that no matter what. So thank you so much for sharing. And we look forward to having you in person next year. And perhaps even before then, having Yamcha with the team here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So our last special guest is Richard Tao, who is, as I said, a very giving person in this community, and gave a lot into this program, not only by sponsoring and bringing others, but actually joined us on many an evening and day to encourage the team. And I wish we have many more people like him. So it's a real pleasure of mine. He's here in the room with us, and I'm going to invite him to come and say a few words. Richard.
Thank you, Chandran. Very humbled to speak after Professor Takahashi and Elsa. So I'll try and keep it brief from a slightly different perspective. My thanks to Chandran, of course, Eric, Olivia, Stephen, Venus, and the GIFT team for organizing such a meaningful workshop. It amazes me how they always come up with topical subjects that combines both academic, intellectual, and real-world issues, such as the last one my son attended, called Diversifying Hong Kong's Economy and Creating Youth's Employment Opportunities. And now this one, Redefining the Smart City for Resilience on the New Normal. So as Chandran mentioned, I had the privilege of being able to attend a few of these module 1 and 2 sessions to see the cohorts in action. For my fellow sponsors, I hope you will continue to support such programs in future and spread the word to your friends and associates. Make the time to drop by, if possible, to see how the participants interact and be challenged by Chandran and Eric to think deeper than ever before. I learned a lot myself from this. Now, first idea feedback, mental health aspects. Actually, 2 of our sponsors are from Mind Hong Kong. That particularly caught my attention because I think we have to, perhaps in Professor's words, reset after the social unrest and pandemic that we have had in Hong Kong. There's a stigma regarding the governments and authority, but one of my candidates brought a very interesting insight, and that is we always tend to oppose the government rather than work with them. So I think that was a very encouraging thought that she planted in my head, and I hope she can plant it in other people's heads too. Now, the other feedback, number 2, is much more challenging on this low carbon economy. I hope you think about how we can incorporate the EV domestic market from the mainland. And that means going from right-hand drive to left-hand drive for Hong Kong. Huge project, okay? Anyway, I'm a driver myself every day, so I have to adjust. But I've driven left-hand drive before, so no problem there. Anyway, the co-sponsorship idea I suggested this time, it was to involve more of the community business peers so that there could be more interaction between the sponsors, ourselves, themselves, and our cohorts afterwards, after the workshop. So I hope GIFT didn't find this too complicated, and thanks for your being flexible. Last but not least, I wish this group success in bringing some or all of the ideas generated here into reality for the betterment of our Hong Kong and Greater Bay Area community. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Because we're having to conduct this in this medium, we all have to restrain ourselves. Normally, we want to just clap and applaud and give a shout out to speakers. But in this environment, because of the background noise, etc., I've got a lot of people raising their hands, etc. So what we like to do now is to essentially invite Eric to open the floor to the audience. And hopefully, Eric, you've had thousands of questions, and you've curated all of them using that special algorithm, using technology that we have. So the smartest questions surface to the top, and you're going to help us. So what we're going to do now is Eric's going to speak to the questions, and then we're going to invite a member of one of the any of the 5 proposal teams here to try and answer it, and we'll see where we go. So Eric, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Chandran. Well, we've had many questions. I wouldn't say it's in the thousands, but there's been many very good questions, and I've used the old school technique of scribbling them on a paper to kind of rank them. We've got a question from Nisha to the Future Skills team. So Ken or anyone from Future Skills, what is the motivating factor for someone to, quote, earn to learn? when there are plenty of other things that we could use our salary for in our livelihoods. And secondly, 40 hours of paid leave is about 5 days of leave. How would you track those 5 days and make sure they're being put to good use vis-a-vis positive impact? So someone from
Eric, Nisha from where?
I'm not sure where Nisha is from.
I think it's Nisha from Malaysia, maybe. Yeah, okay.
Could be. Yep. Someone from Hills.
Yeah. Can I invite the team representative who would like to answer that question? Please, you can come on camera and try and answer the question. Introduce yourself and please answer. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janet from Mind Hong Kong. First of all, thank you very much for that question. If we can first share why we believe the concept of paid development leave is so important. So our future skills scheme, we did some research and we found that in 2030, 85% of all employees will be working on jobs that don't yet exist. Coupled with that, in Hong Kong, where long working hours are the norm, and also not every employee has the time or the resources to actually be able to train themselves on the job. The concept of PDL actually enables and facilitates this so that every single employee in Hong Kong can learn and upskill themselves on the job where the future is heading. In terms of tracking and the ROI, that will be handled from our platform, part of the scheme. But more importantly, through this upskilling, employers will not only be able to benefit from an upskilled employee, but also from a future pool of wider upskilled and learners in the community. So yes, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you so much. Great response. Eric, can we move on to the next one, please?
So much, Janet. So then I have a question for the inclusive economy team and specifically to Carol. So tackling the elderly employment scheme, typically Hong Kong only provides limited job opportunities for the elderly. And hence the jobs often are frontline jobs, which might even add extra burden to their health concerns. So given your proposal aims to create job opportunities for the elderly, can you offer any specific ideas on what types of jobs or industries that you were thinking of in your proposal?
So Carol, you can join or you can bring some of your friends with you. Okay, introduce yourself and yes.
Hello, I'm Wendy from Mastercard Hong Kong. Thank you very much for these good questions. So let me share our ideas. As we are aware, today the elderly populations accounts for 18%, which is around 1.1 million. But when we talk about 20 years ago, it will reach 32%. But we think about an inclusive economy should release the full potential of everyone. And for the senior today, what we propose is for the senior re-employment scheme is to give them a choice to continue to work. And for example, like a lot of medical specialists, actually they are in a very good state, very healthy, physical well, that they could continue their work and also knowledge exchange to the younger workforce. And for the other industry like which is labor intensive, like retail or maybe F&B, for any senior who can continue to work, they can also live their life with dignity and also help to and make our society prosperous, which is our vision today. Yeah. So what we want to conclude that more important is we give the senior a choice to continue to work through the scheme. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think if I might just embellish that as well, the idea was not to suggest that older people who are essentially already overworked and now retired should be put back to work. It's to give the choice, but it is also to suggest that they can do fun jobs because that is essentially, being inclusive. It also helps with the whole sort of wellness issue. But another aspect of this is, of course, that the tens of thousands of people in Hong Kong who are professionally trained, who are middle class, who have incredible amount of expertise that can be shared. So they can do it when we say employed. It's not simply about earning a wage, but coming in and sharing their knowledge, but not asking them to simply do it on a voluntary basis. So I think that those details are in the proposal. Next question, Eric.
So I have quite a few questions for the health and well-being team and also for the low carbon team, but I had an interesting one with regards to the vision itself and asking, what does it mean to live with dignity, and why has this become a focus of your project?
Right. Can I welcome anybody from the team, maybe the task force members, to come and explain how they came up with that vision around dignity and living well? Anybody from, okay, thank you. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. So this is Fiona from Civic Exchange. So I think our goal is really to redefine these old understanding of what a smart city should be like. So we also want to challenge and redefine, what smart city is. That only about, advancing technology? Because ultimately we want to advance technology to have a better life and to live well. And what that means to us is to feel respected and to feel that we are content with our lives. So that is why we want to emphasize dignity, because you can live really well, have a lot of materialistic satisfaction, but if you don't feel content and dignified, that doesn't really mean anything. So that is why our vision has been set that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think, Eric, that response, and to the audience as well, that's very much part of also what GIFT thinks about when we talk about smart. Ultimately, why do we organize our cities around an economy that is vibrant, et cetera, is to essentially allow people to live well and live with dignity, not simply to make that leap of faith that somehow we embrace all the technologies or create wealth, everything will be okay. As we've seen around the world, the divides are huge. So it's dignity and living well. Thank you. We got probably time for 5 minutes more, Eric, do we? And a few more questions?
Yeah, so let's jump to the low carbon team. We had quite a few questions, but a question from John in Hong Kong. Really great to hear many excellent ideas. Can you say something about how the ideas will be funded? Specifically, we know in Shenzhen, regarding buses and taxis, they already do the EV. So who will drive this effort, and how would we fund such an effort in Hong Kong?
Great question. Can I invite the low carbon team, representative, spokesperson, etc.?
Thank you very much for the question. It's me again, Gary. Yeah, Shenzhen has been pioneering on total electrification of its public transport, both taxis and buses. So it's actually a very strong evidence that this can work. The business model can work for public transport if when EV are used. So regarding the technology, the technology is also very ready. We got a lot of models and types of cars and buses that are electric and can be easily purchased from different brands. So it's really down to the policy determination.
Okay, the main question was, how would you fund it?
Yes, and funding. Yeah, if we're talking about electrification of all the taxis and buses in the coming 10 years, we are talking about a few billions of Hong Kong dollar. For a rich city like Hong Kong, it's really not something that is not affordable to us. And also, if you pay attention to our policy proposals, we actually proposed a carbon pricing charging on our energy consumptions. We also proposed a continuous increase of license fees for fossil fuel vehicles. So this could also be the sources of funding for these green projects. So
great, thank you. Thank you, Gary. So I think that's a great reply. And in the proposal, you'll find details about how you'll create a green fund by essentially, and there's no options any place in the world. If you want to decarbonize, you're going to have to put a price on carbon, and we'll start putting a price on carbon, particularly in fundamental electricity use. Then you start to be able to generate revenues that can fund. And of course, you can put in road pricing and various other levies for vehicles that are not electrified, and that would fund it. But there's no option, there's no substitute also for government funding, which is the case in most parts of the world. And as Gary's pointed out, Hong Kong isn't poor.
Okay, I think we have time for maybe just one more. This one is to the health and well-being team. And it's from Dan, who I think is an alumni of the GIFT program.
From Philippines. Hi, Dan. Thank you.
Right. Dan Bercazio. Thank you, Dan. Very much commend the team for correlating SMART with dignity and living well. While it's important to introduce physical exercise early in life, a big challenge is also the effects of lifestyle diseases, i.e. cardiovascular, diabetes, etc., amongst adults, and even individuals that are physically active, but also very hardworking. What do you think can be done to address this major challenge for adults in addition to the kids?
Can I invite the spokesperson? Yes, a team leader, please.
Okay. Hi, my name is Andrew from the Health and Wellbeing team. So it's a great question because on top of taking care of the children, we should also think about the adults as well. So one of our proposals is to better utilize our sports and playgrounds in schools and allow the public to use them as well. So we would like to invite the public to better utilize these facilities in the schools, which are not, for most of the time, they're left in idle after school time. So I guess with higher intensity exercise and turning exercise into a norm in Hong Kong will also become an important factor of improving health in the adults as well, especially for the age of over 40. And I think Hong Kong has a huge potential in doing so. And we can work harder in that in the future. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Eric, I know we got a sort of a hard stop at 3:30, but if you got one more burning question, please go for it. And I will do my best to limit my comments to like 2 minutes, which will be a challenge in itself, but please go ahead.
Okay.
Please, one more question.
As long as you asked, I mean, there are lots and lots of questions. I don't think the quality built environment has had one yet. So let me give
give them one.
Environment team. First of all, there was a few comments talking about the Gerontech equipment and how important it is for an aging society. And there is a center for the elderly that can hire. I think our team actually visited one of those centers. But one other question is, so what is the potential for the public open space areas to be upgraded around Hong Kong? And secondly, what are your suggestions about how the public participation could be facilitated? Is there any technology application to help with that?
Great question. Who would like to take that and answer that? Oh, we've got all of them dashing forward, but I'm going to just pick one. Okay. Yes, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Cora from DBS Bank. Yeah, so I will answer the first question. So we'll see the potential to upgrade the POS areas because according to the policy address 2020, so there will be 170 areas to be upgraded or renovated in 5 years. So we see a lot of potential here. And also we inspired by one of the site visits, you will see the picture in our proposal that in the playground actually is upgraded and also renovated with a different design by the volunteer architects. So in the Chin Wan place. So this is really great idea. And that's why we also have a proposal on the public participation studies. Yeah. So I pass it to you.
Thank you. So Eric, to that, to the person who asked the question, it is not, it is actually building on stated policy. Correct. And already identified sites. What it's new is it's saying, let's get the community involved in the design and the construction and the operation, which you guys saw a few examples of. And I think this is great. What it requires is different thinking in terms of the way procurement contracts are done, but all of this can be done. Hong Kong is one of the world's best at drawing up contracts and making sure they are very well done. So do you want to float one more question, or should I start to close off because our time's nearly up?
I think your time is up and we should probably introduce the teams.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you introduce the team?
Can I introduce the teams quickly? Firstly, can I introduce the Health and Wellbeing team, please? Okay, just quick introduction and so you all get to be seen.
Okay. Hi, my name is Andrew Yuan. I'm come from Jacobson Pharma. There's one thing that I say, without health, we would never be able to achieve smart city. So go get a job.
Hi, this is Fiona again from Civic Exchange. We are a public policy think tank that's trying to make Hong Kong a more livable city.
Hello, I'm Joyce from Invest Hong Kong. We're government department attracting foreign investment into Hong Kong. So come invest in us.
Hi, I'm Melissa and I'm from Mind Hong Kong, a mental health charity. And yes, mental health is very important. Look after yourselves.
I'm Aline from the Women's Foundation, and I hope you like our ideas and we will consider implementing them.
Thank you. Next, can I invite the Inclusive Economy team, please?
Hi everyone, I'm Carol from Mind Hong Kong. We're here to ensure that no one has to face a mental health problem alone.
Hello, I'm Viola from MTR. Let us all work together and contribute to build a more resilient Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Angel from Vocational Training Council. At VTC, we're committed to nurturing young talents in vocational education and training to drive the development of Hong Kong.
Hi, it's Wendy from MasterCard again. We aim to go for a cashless smart city for everyone.
Hi, this is Nick from HKYLP Innovation. We provide a low carbon energy management solution. Let's make a path to live with dignity and living well.
Hey everyone, it's Andrew, your MC. I'm the head of marketing at Brink. Brink invests in startups who are addressing some of the world's most pressing problems with technology solutions. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Okay, and next I'd like to invite the Future Skills team, please.
Hi, I'm Janet from Mind Hong Kong. As a Future Skills team, we believe that Hong Kong's future lies in supporting the lifelong learners of today. So keep learning and supporting everyone. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Aoyuan from NEC Hong Kong. Please remember to reskill and upskill yourself and make good use of the technology. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Chester from MTL. We believe youth should be given the choice to pursue their interests and aspirations. So through an education system, valuing both academic and vocational education are important. Thank you.
Hello, this is Scarlett from CLP Power. We have a shared visions of a better tomorrow. Thanks for listening to us today.
Hello, I'm Ken Hui from Vocational Training Council. Training does not only brings you knowledge, but also brings you opportunities. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Cindy from Invest Hong Kong. We also help Hong Kong to bring in foreign talents to help shape Hong Kong's workforce to be future ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And next, I'd like to invite the Quality Built Environment team.
Hi, I'm Corinne from Soyon Construction. We're a main contractor who is building a better environment for Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Jazz. I'm from One Country, Two Systems Research Institute. I hope you enjoy our presentation today.
Hi, I'm Oliver To from Environmental Protection Department. So remember, a quality built environment shall be livable, sustained, and also balanced. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cora from DBS Bank Hong Kong. I think we have great fun in this program, and then something I learned outside my work environment. This is very meaningful. So I also hope you have friends and also a colleague to join this program in the future.
Hi everyone, I'm Carlos from Social Ventures Hong Kong. 3.5 square meters is a really big challenge, but I think all of us really want to have more public open space, right? So let's do it together. And last but not least, I really love my team. Thank you.
Hi, this is Terence from HKUST. Let's make Hong Kong a better place.
Okay, last but not least, the low carbon team.
Hi, I'm Iris from NEC. It's great to be here. Let's make a green environment in Hong Kong with technology. Please support us.
Hi, this is Hazel from Environmental Protection Department. We are all here for a better Hong Kong. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hello, this is Gary from MTR. MTR accounts for 50% of public transport in Hong Kong. So 50% of our public transport is already green. We just need to tackle the remaining 50.
Hi, this is Jackie from Hong Kong University of Science and Technology's Divisions of Environment and Sustainability. To tackle environmental issues, we need collective decisions and actions. So let's work together to make Hong Kong carbon neutral by 2050.
Hi, this is Rico, and from ArchiReef. We will build degraded marine ecosystem and mobilize blue carbon in Hong Kong. We need your support.
Hi, this is Jane from HKYLP Power. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy our very passionate presentations today. Hopefully our teams could lash onto the passion we had today and also the purpose and work together towards a net zero carbon and zero waste future, a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That was a short introduction. I'm really hoping that next year we will do this in person. We'll invite everybody back here. It's now left to me in like 2 minutes to wrap up what I can't do justice to, which is to comment on the incredible work. I just want to say a couple of things to everyone who attended. Thank you very much. To the team, I would like to say you've done an incredible job. Hong Kong should be proud of you, and you should take this away and change a lot of things. You have done something that is very difficult to do in a short space of time. The outputs of the work done by the team will stand the test of time, in my view. It will stand the test of time. We at GIFT will make sure that everyone in the city that is interested can make a change, will get a copy of the report. The report will be cleaned up and finalized in the next month or so. And given what I saw yesterday at the first draft, after only 1 week, that was about 150 pages. I think we have a substantial report on our hands, which I think will make a great contribution to Hong Kong. So I know my time is up. I could say a lot more, but I want to congratulate this team for excellent piece of work, excellent piece of work. I want to thank everybody who joined us, and please let's make this a continuous process. I'd like to thank all the sponsors and Richard, who's here as well. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. Okay, with that, we have to leave you, love you and leave you, but we'll be back again. And if you're interested, anyone in the outputs, please write to us. We will send you the report. Thank you so much. Thank you.